The Galactic Peace Summit was supposed to be a routine affair. For 3,000 years, the civilized species of the Andromeda Council had gathered on the neutral station of Harmony's End to resolve disputes, negotiate treaties, and maintain the delicate balance of power that kept the galaxy from descending into chaos. The station itself was a marvel of engineering, a crystalline construct floating in the void between star systems, large enough to house delegates from 47 different species. This year, however, was different. This year, humanity had been invited. Anna checked her reflection in the polished surface of the corridor wall, adjusting the collar of her diplomatic uniform. As Earth's chief xenoanthropologist, she had spent the last 6 months preparing for this moment, studying every species they would encounter, memorizing their customs, their taboos, their preferred methods of greeting. Beside her, Leo carried a diplomatic data slate, his military background evident in his rigid posture despite wearing civilian attire. "You're doing it again," Anna said without looking at him. "Doing what?" Leo asked. "Standing like you're about to march into combat. Relax. We're here to make friends, not invade." Leo's jaw unclenched slightly. "Right, friends. With beings who think we're barely evolved primates." Anna shot him a warning glance. The human delegation had fought hard for this invitation. Earth had only made first contact 15 years ago, and most of the galaxy still viewed humanity as upstarts. Dangerous, unpredictable upstarts with a concerning affinity for weapons and a bewildering tolerance for violence. The doors to the Grand Assembly Hall hissed open, and Anna's breath caught. The chamber was enormous, its ceiling lost in artificial starlight. Delegates from dozens of species occupied their designated platforms. The aquatic Valorians in their water-filled spheres, the insectoid Chitteric clustered in their hive seat, the graceful Yoth floating on cushions of anti-gravity. Every single one of them turned to stare at the humans. Anna forced herself to smile and walked forward, Leo following half a step behind. She had rehearsed this entrance 100 times, confident but not aggressive, friendly but not submissive, human but not too human. The silence stretched for an uncomfortable moment before Ambassador Krelith of the Valorians spoke, his translated voice bubbling through the chamber. "Humans. You are acknowledged. Please take your assigned platform." Anna bowed slightly, a gesture she had learned was considered respectful among most species, and made her way to the human platform. It was positioned in the outer ring, befitting their junior status in galactic politics. As they sat, she noticed the way the nearest delegates leaned away, their body language screaming discomfort. This was going to be harder than she thought. The conference began with the usual formalities. The High Arbiter, a towering Yoth named Selmora, welcomed the delegates and outlined the agenda. Border disputes, trade negotiations, the usual bureaucratic necessities that kept civilization functioning. Anna listened politely, taking notes on her data pad. Then came the first break and everything went sideways. Leo stood to stretch, a perfectly normal human behavior after sitting for 2 hours. The sound of his joints cracking echoed through the chamber like gunshots. 3 separate delegations flinched. The Chitteric representative actually retreated into their hive seat. "What the hell?" Leo whispered. Anna grabbed his arm. "Sit down," but the damage was done. She could see the delegates whispering among themselves, their translators creating a susurrus of concern. The word predator appeared multiple times in the floating translation holograms. During the lunch recess, Anna attempted damage control, approaching the Valorian delegation with what she hoped was a disarming smile. Ambassador Krelith regarded her with all 4 of his eye stalks, his aquatic body rippling with what her translator identified as anxiety. "Ambassador Anna," he bubbled. "Your species adapts well to station gravity." "Thank you," Anna said carefully. "We evolved on a high-gravity world. It makes us quite resilient." "Yes," Krelith said slowly. "We have read your species file. Your world is classified as a Class 7 death world. Your atmospheric oxygen content would be toxic to most species. Your gravity would crush us. Your predators are..." He paused, searching for words. "Abundant." Anna blinked. She had known Earth was considered dangerous by galactic standards, but seeing the genuine fear in Krelith's posture was sobering. "We've learned to adapt to our environment. It's made us resourceful." "Indeed." Krelith's tone suggested he found this less reassuring than she had intended. The afternoon session proved even more challenging. A territorial dispute between two minor species threatened to escalate into violence. Voices were raised. The Yoth Arbiter called for calm. And then Leo made his second mistake of the day. He laughed. It wasn't even a particularly aggressive laugh. Just a brief chuckle at the absurdity of two species. Arguing over a moon neither could actually colonize. But to ears unused to human vocalizations, it sounded like the growl of a predator. The chamber fell silent. 47 species worth of delegates turned to stare at the human platform. Anna saw genuine terror in some of their faces. High Arbiter Selmora floated forward, her robes billowing in an unseen breeze. Human Leo, you find this dispute amusing? Leo's face went pale as he realized his error. Anna jumped in before he could respond.
High Arbiter, please forgive my colleague.
Humans sometimes express stress through involuntary vocalizations. It was not meant as disrespect. Selmora regarded them both with eyes that had witnessed millennia. Stress? This situation causes you stress? Yes, Anna said honestly. We're new to galactic politics. We want to help, but we're afraid of making mistakes, of disappointing you all. Something shifted in Selmora's expression. You fear our judgment? Of course, Anna said. We know our reputation. We know you see us as violent, as dangerous, but we're trying to be better. We're trying to learn. The High Arbiter was quiet for a long moment. Then she did something unexpected. She descended to the human platform's level, breaking centuries of protocol to address them face to face. You misunderstand, Selmora said softly. We do not see you as dangerous because you are violent. We see you as dangerous because you are strong. Your species survived conditions that would annihilate ours. You endured a death world and thrived. You fought wars that lasted generations and still found the wisdom to seek peace. Anna felt tears prickling at her eyes. We thought you despised us. We fear you, Selmora admitted. But perhaps fear and respect are not so different. Perhaps that is why you are truly here, to teach us that strength and wisdom need not be opposites. The chamber remained silent, but Anna sensed the quality of that silence had changed. The delegates were no longer staring in horror. They were watching with something that might have been the beginning of understanding. Leo cleared his throat, and this time nobody flinched. So, he said carefully, about that territorial dispute. Can I make a suggestion? Selmora smiled, a gesture she had clearly learned from studying humans. Please do. As Leo outlined a compromise that had both parties nodding thoughtfully within minutes, Anna realized something profound. Humanity hadn't been invited to this conference to be judged. They had been invited because the galaxy needed something it had forgotten, the perspective of a species that had clawed its way up from the bottom and still chose to reach for the stars. They were scary, yes. But maybe, just maybe, that was exactly what the universe needed.